Okay, so again, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. So, we will now continue our discussion with degenerative diseases. Okay, so last time, so already tackled yung other mga degenerative disease like multiple sclerosis, myasthenia gravis, saka yung Parkinson's disease. So today, we'll be talking about Guillain-Barré syndrome or GBS, Huntington disease, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. Okay, so let's start with Huntington's disease. Ay, ba't ayaw lumipat? Ayaw makisa. Ayan. So, let's start pala with Guillain-Barré syndrome. Okay, so ano nga ba yung Guillain-Barré syndrome or GBS? So, ano ba yung naapektuhan niyan? Ano ba yung nakikita natin sa pasyente? Sabi natin, GBS is a rare autoimmune disorder where the body's immune system attacks the peripheral nervous system. So, ibig sabihin, yung mismong antibody ng katawan ng tao, siya yung sumisira ng peripheral nervous system. Which, ang nangyari ngayon doon sa pasyente na nagkakaroon ng, na inaatake niya yung peripheral nervous system or nagkakaroon ng GBS, ano nangyari? Nagkakaroon siya ng muscle weakness, nagkakaroon ng paralysis, and potentially, this is a life-threatening condition. Kasi bakit? Pag sinabi kasi natin yung peripheral nervous system na inattack niya, ano ba yung mga pwedeng mangyari kay patient? Diba? Pwede pong maapektuhan yung mga organs ng pasyente, 'di ba? Like the heart, the stomach, the intestine, the kidney, 'di ba? Ano pa daw? Pwede rin maapektuhan din po yung sensory and motor information na natatransfer kasi 'di ba diyan siya dumadaan yung mga messages na 'yan. So 'yan po yung mga pwedeng maapektuhan sa kanya. Okay? So let me show or play a video just to give you a brief overview on ano ba yung nangyayari sa Guillain-Barré syndrome natin.
Hi, this is Tom from ZeroToFinals.com. In this video, I'm going to be going through Guillain-Barré syndrome, and you can find written notes on this topic at ZeroToFinals.com/Guillain-Barré or in the neurology section of the Zero to Finals medicine book. So let's jump straight in. Guillain-Barré syndrome is an acute paralytic polyneuropathy, and it affects the peripheral nervous system. And it causes an acute, meaning quite quick, onset, symmetrical, affecting both sides equally, ascending weakness, so it's weakness that is coming up from the feet upwards. It can also affect the sensory nerves, causing a sensory neuropathy. It's usually triggered by an infection and is particularly associated with gastroenteritis caused by Campylobacter.
Ano po?
Wala pong sound, sir.
Walang sounds. Teka lang, bakit nawala na naman yung sounds? Okay, ulitin natin.
Meron na po, sir.
Meron po.
Hi, this is Tom from ZeroToFinals.com. In this video, I'm going to be going through Guillain-Barré syndrome, and you can find written notes on this topic at ZeroToFinals.com/Guillain-Barré or in the neurology section.
Bakit ba nagyolo?
Through Guillain-Barré syndrome, and you can find written notes on this topic at ZeroToFinals.com/Guillain-Barré or in the neurology section of the Zero to Finals medicine book. So let's jump straight in. Guillain-Barré syndrome is an acute paralytic polyneuropathy, and it affects the peripheral nervous system. And it causes an acute, meaning quite quick, onset, symmetrical, affecting both sides equally, ascending weakness, so it's weakness that is coming up from the feet upwards. It can also affect the sensory nerves, causing a sensory neuropathy. It's usually triggered by an infection and is particularly associated with gastroenteritis caused by Campylobacter jejuni, or infection with cytomegalovirus or Epstein-Barr virus. So what's the pathophysiology? Guillain-Barré is thought to occur due to a process called molecular mimicry, and this is where the B cells of the immune system create antibodies against the antigens on the pathogen that's causing the preceding infection. So if they've got a Campylobacter gastroenteritis, the B cells of the immune system create antibodies against that Campylobacter. And these antibodies also match proteins on the nerve cells. They may target proteins on the myelin sheath of the motor nerve or on the nerve axon itself. And this damage to the nerve cells, because of these antibodies against the nerve cells, create the neuropathy and the symptoms. So how does Guillain-Barré syndrome present? Well, it presents with a symmetrical ascending weakness, which starts from the feet and moves up the body. There will be reduced reflexes, because it's a peripheral neuropathy. There may be peripheral loss of sensation or neuropathic pain, and it may progress to the cranial nerves and cause a facial nerve weakness as well. So what's the clinical course? Well, symptoms usually start within 4 weeks of the preceding infection. So they may, in your exams, have had a gastroenteritis 4 weeks previously. The symptoms typically start in the feet and progress upwards, and the symptoms peak within 2 to 4 weeks, and then there's a slow recovery period that can last months to years. How do you make a diagnosis? Well, a diagnosis of Guillain-Barré syndrome is made clinically. There's no specific test that confirms the definitive diagnosis. There's some criteria called the Brighton criteria that can be used for a diagnosis, and it can be supported by investigations such as nerve conduction studies, which show reduced signal throughout the nerves, and lumbar puncture to test for the CSF. And in your exams, the CSF of somebody with Guillain-Barré may have raised protein with a normal cell count and normal glucose. Let's talk about the management of Guillain-Barré. It involves IV immunoglobulins, plasma exchange to try and remove some of those antibodies, supportive care to make sure the patient is still well despite having the associated weakness, and importantly they need venous thromboembolism prophylaxis, so maybe low molecular weight heparin or enoxaparin, to prevent them from developing blood clots, because pulmonary embolism is a leading cause of death in Guillain-Barré syndrome. In very severe cases where there's respiratory failure, then the patients may need intubation, ventilation, and admission to the intensive care unit. Finally, let's go through the prognosis. These are rough numbers, but around 80% of people will fully recover. 15% will be left with some sort of neurological disability, maybe some slight weakness or some neuropathic pain, and 5% of patients will actually die from the condition. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked the
yan po ang
video, left a comment.
Yan po yung Guillain-Barré syndrome natin. So, paano nga daw yung nangyayari? Sabi nga natin, di ba? Pathophysiology, di ba? Sabi natin, ano daw, because of the virus, specifically yung Epstein-Barr, sabi dito, yung nagkakaroon ng demyelination dun sa peripheral nerve or yung mismong myelin sheath noong isang pasyente, yun yung inaatake nung mismong Epstein-Barr virus or yung mismong antibody na convert or kumbaga nasira yung memory niya na mismo yung myelin sheath is kinakalaban niya or sinisira niya. Which is, di ba, si myelin sheath, siya dyan dumadaan yung signal. Kaya ngayon, nasira yung pagsesend ng signal. Kaya ngayon lumalabas yung manifestation kay patient, which is ano nangyari? Nagkakaroon ng weakness. Diba? So tandaan, yung weakness, nagsisimula siya in the lower extremities, kaya ascending paralysis. So, ibig sabihin, lower extremities pataas. And tandaan din po, symmetrical po yung symptoms na lalabas kay patient. So, habang tumataas po yung problem kay patient or yung weakness, 'di ba? Imagine mo hanggang makarating dun sa lungs, 'di ba? Kaya 'di ba sabi kanina sa video, pwede pong ma-intubate yung patient kasi pwede pong maapektuhan yung respiration din ng patient natin. Yan. So, anong nangyayari kasi 'di ba yung antibodies kala nila kalaban din nila mismo yung myelin kaya na sisira. So, yan po yung pathophysiology. So, sabi ko nga, ano daw yung manifestation? Ascending paralysis, no? It will start in the feet and the legs and pataas siyang magpro-progress papunta dun sa upper part ng katawan natin. And sabi ko nga, pwede pong maapektuhan yung respiratory muscle ni patient. Okay, weakness and sensory changes in the lips. So, ibig sabihin, nawawala ng pakiramdam, nanghihina yung legs ng pasyente natin. Okay, there will be also autonomic dysfunction. So, ano yon? The blood pressure, pwede maapektuhan. The heart rate, magkakaroon ng abnormality sa heart rate. And, sabi nga kanina, in severe cases, respiratory failure. Specifically, kapag po naapektuhan na yung kanyang, respiratory muscle nung pasyente natin. So, yun yung problema dyan sa GBS. Yung pag hindi na gumagana yung respiratory muscle nung patient natin. Okay? Diagnostic, sabi, walang definitive. Pero, ginagawa to to check, di ba? Yung lumbar puncture. Kasi para makita natin na, nag-elevate yung protein levels dun sa CSF ni patient. Kasi nga, di ba, inaatake yung myelin sheath. So, ngayon, kala niya ngayon, tumataas yung protein, nare-release yan. Tapos, yung blood count niya is parang normal. Yung white blood cells niya is normal lang siya. Kaya ngayon, yun yung isa sa tinitingnan. Pag tumataas yung protein level dun sa sa CSF ni patient. Okay, for nerve conduction study naman, tinitingnan dyan, di ba sa nerve conduction study, tinitingnan yung pagse-send ng signal. Di ba? So, yung conductibility nung mismong yung kumbaga yung parang yung wire, di ba? So, ang nangyayari sa pasyente na may GBS, mabagal or nai-interrupt yung pagsesend ng signal. So, ma-identify yan sa ating nerve conduction studies. Okay, so how will we treat GBS? Sabi kanina, di ba, immunoglobulin. So, we can give plasmapheresis or IV immunoglobulin to reduce yung autoimmune response. So, ibig sabihin, di ba, nagkakaroon ng autoimmune disorder. So, kaya binibigyan ng immunoglobulin para makorek or tinatry na i-correct na hindi niya kalabanan yung sarili niyang, nung antibodies niya yung, or sirain ng antibodies niya yung myelin sheath ng patient or the peripheral nervous system ng pasyente natin. Okay? While, pwede rin po magbigay tayo ng pain management kasi nga pwedeng in pain si patient. So, as pain management, we can give acetaminophen or opioids. Pero syempre, magsisimula tayo muna sa mababang pain reliever, which is acetaminophen or paracetamol. And then, kung hindi kaya, unti-unti, i-increase siya. So, we can give your opioids. Okay? So, physical therapy, kailangan din po yan. Di ba, para ma-improve natin yung muscle strength, kasi di ba, nanghihina, para ma-improve natin yung mobility ng pasyente. So, we will refer it to physical therapies. Okay? So, ano naman yung nursing interventions natin? Diba? Number 1, monitor respiratory functions. Diba? Sabi kasi nga natin, the respiratory muscle of the patient could be affected kapag umakyat na yung paralysis ng pasyente. Kaya it is important to assess natin lagi yung respiratory function. Kung nagkakaroon ba ng respiratory distress yung pasyente and kailangan bang i-intubate and i-hook sa mechanical ventilator yung patient natin. Okay, prevent complication by managing the pain, di ba? Diba daw? Prevent din natin na magkaroon ng mga screen breakdown, magkaroon ng bed sore, ng mga sugat yung pasyente natin. And ano daw? Promote mobility. Kaya po nire-refer sa physical therapist. Kasi di ba kung hindi lalong gagalaw yan, di ba malalo magkakaroon ng muscle weakness, mag-atrophy pa yung kanyang muscles. Okay, provide emotional support. Patient may be anxious or fearful due to rapid onset of the symptoms. So we need to explain to the patient, kasi pag yan nagkaroon ng anxiety, lalong bibilis yung progression ng disease. And collaboration with therapists. So work with physical, occupational, or speech therapists to maximize the functional recovery of your patient. So yan yung ginagawa natin kay GBS. Okay, may question po ba sa GBS? May clarification, concern? All good? May kasama pa ako? Meron. Okay, so let's now move with the next degenerative disease, which is your Huntington's disease. Ano naman daw si Huntington? Sabi natin, it is a genetic neurodegenerative disorder that causes progressive motor dysfunction. So, bukod sa motor, nagkakaroon din ng cognitive decline and psychiatric symptoms si patient. So, kung may motor, cognitive and psychiatric symptoms, anong part ng katawan ang apektado? Yung brain ni patient. Okay, so Huntington, this is an inherited condition that causes brain cell to slowly lose the function and namamatay yung mga brain cells ni patient. And it affects the cells in the parts of the brain that regulates your voluntary movement and yung memory. So, yan yung problem sa Huntington. Diba? Kaya nga may cognitive decline. And ano daw? Diba yung voluntary movements? Yung mga muscles or mga organs natin na kusang gumagana na hindi kailangan nating utusan. Okay? So, let me play again another video para mas makatulong na i-discuss yung Huntington disease natin. Okay, ayaw.
Huntington disease is a degenerative disease of the central nervous system. It's an inherited disease caused by a mutation in the Huntingtin gene. Symptoms of Huntington disease typically develop in adulthood and include changes in movement, cognition, and behaviour. There is no cure. Current treatments only reduce the symptoms. The normal function of the Huntingtin gene is not fully understood, but it is important for the development of the nervous system. The mutation itself is quite distinctive. There are too many repeats of a sequence in the gene where the bases spell CAG. This trinucleotide codes for the amino acid glutamine. More than 40 repeats lead to a mutated protein with an unusually long chain of glutamine. Such a long protein invariably causes disease. Mutated Huntingtin proteins are broken down to shorter fragments by caspases, calpanes, and other proteases. But how these fragments cause toxicity is not wholly clear. The most studied fragment, called HTT exon 1, can take different conformations and combine to various other proteins. So it's a challenge to find out how this fragment contributes to disease development. However, HTT exon 1 can form aggregates including tangles of amyloid fibrils. Similar aggregates are also present in other neurodegenerative diseases, including Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, and amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or ALS. In Huntington disease too, these aggregates might be responsible for the toxic effects of mutated huntingtin.
So yung Huntington naman, so ano naman daw yung naapektuhan ito? Yung central nervous system. Diba? Kanina dun sa GBS natin, ang apektado is yung yung peripheral nervous system, ngayon naman is yung central nervous system. So again, pag-usapan natin yung pathophysiology. Sabi natin, in Huntington disease, this is caused by a mutation of the Huntington gene on the chromosome 4 that leads to production of abnormal protein, which is yung abnormal protein na yon na siya'y dumadami ng dumadami, siya yung nagkokos kung bakit nadadamage yung mga neurons dun sa tunog ng tunog. Kung bakit nadadamage yung neurons dun sa basal ganglia and cortex of the brain of the patient. And once your basal ganglia is nadadamage, ano mangyayari? Diba, lalabas ngayon yung mga motor-like symptoms dun sa pasyente. Like yung chorea or involuntary movements. Diba? And also, diba, nasisira. So, ibig sabihin, yung cognitive ni patient, yung thinking, diba, nagkakaroon din ng problem or nagdi-decrease. And nagkakaroon din ng psychiatric symptoms yung pasyente natin. So, ano ngayon makikita nating manifestation doon sa pasyente na may Huntington? So, sabi nga kanina, chorea or involuntary or jerky movement. So, nagkakaroon siya ng mga unnecessary movement si patient. Okay, nagkakaroon din po siya ng dementia. So, progressive memory loss. Ibig sabihin, may mga nakakalimutan na siya. And sometimes, mahirap na siya kausapin. Ano nga yung sinabi mo? Hindi kanya naiintindihan. Kasi nga, nagde-decline na rin po yung cognitive ability ng patient natin. Okay? May psychiatric symptoms. So, patient may be depressed, anxious, and irritability yung pasyente natin. And in other cases din po, nagkakaroon din po ng difficulty in swallowing and speaking yung pasyente habang nagpo-progress yung disease. Kasi tandaan, di ba, central nervous system yung apektado, yung brain ni patient natin. Okay, so how will we diagnose? So through genetic testing. Di ba, para ma-confirm yung pag-expand ng mga protein na yan. Kung ano ba nangyayari dun sa cytosine, adenine niya, tsaka yung guanine ng pasyente natin. Okay, so MRI or scan, pwede po siyang gawin or ginagawa siya to identify yung atrophy, yung lumiliit na part ng brain ni patient, specifically dun sa basal ganglia or sa other parts ng brain ng pasyente. So, kung ibig sabihin, nag-atrophy yung brain ni patient natin. So, paano ba natin ititreat yung Huntington? Diba? Sabi natin, ano daw? Symptoms management. Ibig sabihin, kung ano yung sintomas na nakikita kay patient, yun yung kailangan nating itreat. Diba? Sabi natin may chorea, merong involuntary movement si patient. So, we can give your tetrabenazine para makontrol yung mga involuntary movements ni patient. O kung depressed, o we can give antidepressant. Kung may psychiatric symptoms, antipsychotic drugs pwedeng ibigay kay patient. Okay, physical therapy, yan, para ma-manage naman yung mga motor dysfunction or speech therapy kung may problema sa paglunok tsaka sa pagsasalita yung patient natin. So, symptomatic treatment tayo or management kay patient. Okay, so, nursing management, monitor for complication. Diba? Especially yung difficulty to swallowing. Kasi nga, pwede mag-aspirate yung pasyente natin. And once the patient is na-aspirate, additional or another problem na naman yan. So, kaya laging ina-assess po yung swallowing reflex ni patient natin. Okay, pag sinabing swallowing difficulties, o ano bibigay? Diba dapat yung mga pagkain, bawal yung sobrang titigas. Diba? Kailangan mga soft diet lang siya. Okay, promote safety, patient that are at risk for falls due to chorea and motor impairment. O pwedeng mahulog. So para ma-prevent yan, ano gagawin? Diba? Yung side rails natin. Yan. Tapos lagi dapat may kasama yung pasyente natin. Provide emotional and psychological support. So address the depression of the patient and anxiety ng pasyente natin. So let your patient verbalize, diba, kung ano ba yung nararamdaman niya. And we can refer din yung patient natin sa mental health professionals, diba, sa psychologists, para makausap kung talagang mahirap na i-manage or unmanageable yung anxiety or depression ng patient natin. So, coordinate care, work with multidisciplinary team, yan, neurologist, psychologist, therapist, para ma-manage yung mga symptoms ni patient effectively. Okay, may question pa po? May clarification? Malinaw po. What's the difference between Huntington and GBS? Malinaw. May kasama pa ako? Meron pa. Sige. So, let's now move with the next problem or degenerative disorder. We have your amyotrophic lateral sclerosis or ALS. So, ano naman ang meron sa ALS? So, ito po yung mga isa sa pinakasikat na mga na celebrity na nagkaroon ng ALS, 'di ba? Si Lou Gehrig. Ayan. So, kaya tinawag din siyang Lou Gehrig's disease. So, this is a progressive neurodegenerative disease that affects both upper and lower motor neuron. So, bisan upper and lower part ng katawan ni patient nagkakaroon ng muscle weakness, nagka-atrophy and respiratory failure. So, kanina, dun sa ating GBS, ascending. So, ito naman, both upper and lower. So, ibig sabihin, hindi makalakad, pwede rin magkaroon ng respiratory failure yung patient natin. Okay, so let me play another video para po sa discussion ng ating ALS natin.
Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, is a nervous system disease that attacks nerve cells called neurons in your brain and spinal cord. These neurons transmit messages from your brain and spinal cord to your voluntary muscles, the ones you can control, like in your arms and legs. At first, this causes mild muscle problems. Some people notice trouble walking or running, trouble writing, or speech problems. Eventually, you lose your strength and cannot move. When muscles in your chest fail, you cannot breathe. A breathing machine can help, but most people with ALS die from respiratory failure.
The disease usually strikes between age 40 and 60. More men than women get it. No one knows what causes ALS. It can run in families, but usually it strikes at random. There is no cure. Medicines can relieve symptoms and, sometimes, prolong survival.
Ayan, so ano nga daw nangyayari? Sa ano nga daw yung apektado? Di ba yung nerves? Yung nerves nung pasyente. Diba? So, ito man yung nasisira. So, sabi natin, the neurons in the brain and the spinal cords are, destroyed or nasisira. Kaya ano nangyayari? Nagkakaroon ng muscle atrophy and weakness. Specifically, diba sabi, ang apektado dito, yung mismong mga parts ng katawan natin na nakokontrol natin. Yun po yung problem sa kanya. Tapos, pero, hindi nga daw alam yung cause. Pero sabi, pwede siyang mamana. Okay? So, there is no cure for ALS and it leads the gradual loss of voluntary muscle functions natin. So, ano daw makikita kay patient na may ALS? So, muscle weakness and atrophy. Sabi, often begins in one limb or or group of muscles with progressive involvement on the other areas. So, pwede isang side lang muna. Yan. Then, nagkakaroon doon ng spasticity and hyperreflexia. So, yung reflexes ng pasyente. Okay, ano pa daw? Ano pa yung mga voluntary involuntary movement? So, dysphagia. Nahihirapan lang lumunok yung pasyente. Dysarthria, difficulty in speaking. Diba? And respiratory failure due to weakening of the respiratory muscle. So, napansin nyo dun sa tatlong sakit. Diba? Puro naapektuhan yung breathing ng pasyente. Ang pinagkaiba lang nilang tatlo, yung cause, tsaka yung mismong nasisira sa part ng central nervous system or the peripheral nervous system ng pasyente natin. So, diagnostic test. So, we can do EMG or electromyography to show signs of denervation and motor neuron damage. Kasi kung talagang wala ng signal, wala ng reaction, diba, yung patient. So, CT scan or MRI for us to rule out other conditions and evaluate yung structural changes dun sa brain and spinal cord ng patient natin. Also, we can do genetic testing in familial ACLS cases to identify genetic mutation kasi it could be genetic daw yung ating ALS natin. So, walang daw cure. So, anong gagawin natin kay patient? How will we treat the patient? So, Risorol, the only FDA-approved drugs for ALS that may slow the disease progression. So, ito binibigay para daw mapabagal lang yung progression ng disease. And then, other management would be symptomatic management. So, ibig sabihin, kung ano yung nakikita kay patient na problem. If patient have problem with respiration, so patient could be, pwede daw, meron tayo non-invasive ventilator. Yan po yung hindi kailangan i-intubate yung pasyente. So, pwede po yung BiPAP. So, si BiPAP, may parang sealed mask yan doon sa mouth and nose ni patient, tapos nakakonect pa rin po sa ventilator, tapos yan po yung help para mag-breathe yung pasyente. Unlike po kasi kapag in-intubate, mayroong tube na naka-direct dun sa trachea ni patient. So, pwede rin pong i-intubate si patient. Pero kung kaya pa naman ng BiPAP po muna tayo. So, physical therapy, yan, for mobility and prevent yung mga contractures, speech therapy for communication and swallowing. Diba? Halos magkakamukha lang silang tatlo ng management. So, sa nursing intervention, ganun din. Respiratory function, diba? Early sign ba ng respiratory distress? And repair agad natin or collaborate with the respiratory therapies. Promote comfort. So, pain. Kung in pain si patient, pain management tayo. Diba? So, pang-alleviate yung mga discomfort, yung mga muscle cramps or spasm ng pasyente natin. Ayan. Facilitate communication. So, use alternative communication method as the disease progresses. Halimbawa, nahirapan humingi yung pasyente. Paano kung mabibigya? Paano kayo magko-communicate ng pasyente? Diba? Pwede po yung, ano yun, yung sinusulatan, whiteboard or yung sleigh, ano ba yun, yung nabubura pag pinihit mo. Ayan. So, pwede po yung magsusulat. Ayan. Kasi, support the patient and family, provide resources for end-of-life care and advanced care planning. So, ibig sabihin, kailangan natin update din yung pasyente. Bigyan natin ng option yung patient tsaka yung family ni patient. Kasi nga, in the end, the patient will die. Kasi nga po, apektado po yung breathing din ng patient natin. Alright, so, how will we compare yung tatlo para mas madali? Ano? So, tandaan, GBS, acute, open, ano daw yan, because of post-infectious and potentially full recovery. Pwedeng mag-recover, tapos ascending paralysis. Huntington, genetic, progressive, involves motor, cognitive, and psychiatric symptoms. ACLS naman, ALS, progressive degeneration of motor neurons, leading to respiratory failure with no known cause, both upper and lower limbs. So, yan po yung difference nilang tatlo. Kasi magkakamukha lang naman ng management. Tama? Yung specific na medication lang yung nag-iiba. Diba? Kasi si GBS, so bibigay immunoglobulin kasi nga autoimmune siya. Alright, may question po sa tatlo. May question ba sa GBS, Huntington, tsaka ALS? Linaw po ba? May kasama pa ba ako? Meron pa. Okay, so that's all for your degenerative diseases. Okay, so let's now move with the next topic natin, which is the musculoskeletal system. So we will be talking about fracture, bone and joint disorder ng ito po yung mga next na topic na pag-uusapan natin, yung mga nabali-bali, diba? Yung mga may rayuma, yan, may mga ano-anong nangyayari sa bones ni patient. So let's have a quick or very brief review of anatomy and physiology of your human bones. So sabi natin, an average adult has 206 bones, 29 bones in the skull, 26 vertebrae bones, 1 sternum with 24 ribs, 4 pectoral girdle bones with 60 upper limb bones, and 2 pelvic girdle bones with 60 lower limb bones. So hindi na natin iisa-isahin yan kasi na-master nyo yan sa anatomy and physiology, di ba? Kabisado nyo na. Yan. So musculoskeletal system, siya daw yung body's framework. Di ba? Ibig sabihin, yan po yung nagsusupport sa katawan natin, which consists the bones, the muscle, the tendons, the ligaments, and the joints. So it works together to enable our movement, to support our body, and protect yung vital organs natin. Diba? For example, yung rib cage, ano ba yung pinoprotektahan niyan? Diba? The lungs and the heart of the patient. Diba? So, yung ating tibia and fibula, yung femur, diba? So, siya yung tumutulong para makastand tayo. Diba? Yung joint dun sa dalawa na yon, diba? Yung patella, diba? Yung kneecap, diba? Yung joints between that. So, para nakakapag-flexion, extension yung ating legs. Okay, sabi natin, bones, these are rigid structure that form the skeleton. They protect and support, they provide, protect yung organs natin. And also, di ba, nag-i-store po yun ng mga minerals, di ba? Like your calcium, di ba? Yung blood cells natin doon sa bone marrow ng pasyente natin. So, yan po yung mga function ng ating bone. Well, the muscles, the tissue that contract and relax to allow yung movement natin. Diba? So, we have three kinds of muscle. We have the skeletal muscle, the smooth muscle, and the cardiac muscle. So, yung skeletal muscles, voluntary muscle attached to the bones para magkaroon tayo ng movement. Yung smooth muscles naman, these are the involuntary muscle found dun sa mga walls ng mga organs natin. Diba? Sa intestine. Diba? While the cardiac muscle, diba? Siyempre dun sa heart natin. So, mga involuntary muscles din. Yan. Okay, so ano naman yung tendons? So, tendons, these are fibrous connective tissue that attach the muscle and to the bone. Diba? Yung mismo nagko-connect sa kanya. Which is, yung tendon ang nagpapacilitate nung movement kapag nag-contract yung muscle natin. So, si ligament naman, top band of connective tissue that connects bones to other bones at joints. So, ibig sabihin yung mga dugtungan. So, si ligaments yung tumutulong dyan. And the joints area where two or more bones meet and they allow movement and provide yung flexibility natin kung paano nag-flexion, extension yung mga parts ng katawan natin. Okay, so ano pa? We have synovial joints, fibrinous joint, and cartilaginous joint. So, pag sinabi natin synovial joints, ito po yung pre-movable. Diba? Yung mga, diba? Yung dugtungan sa elbow, sa tuhod, dito sa wrist natin, kasama din po yan. Pag fibrinous naman, fibrinous joint, ito yung mga hindi na siya namumove. Diba? Parang yung ating brain, diba? Yung skull. Diba? Yung skull, meron dyan mga joint. Diba? Merong lateral suture, frontal suture, lambdoidal suture, occipital. Sabihin, may joint dyan, pero hindi na siya nagagalaw kasi nag-seal na siya. Pag naman cartilaginous joints, these are partially movable. So, ano yung mga partial movable? Di ba yung ating mga vertebrae dun sa spinal cord natin, di ba? Konti lang naman siya, hindi naman totally na-bend na siya, hindi kagaya ng mga synovial joints natin. Okay, na-recall na yung musculoskeletal system. Meron ba gustong i-clarify? Okay. Sige. So, let's now move with the problems na po tayo. And our first problem is the fracture. So, ibig sabihin, nagkaroon daw ng breakage or nagkaroon ng disruption dun sa continuity of the bone. Diba? So, pwede daw, ano ba yan? Nag-cause because of the trauma, overuse of the bone, or pwede rin yung pathologic condition. Ibig sabihin, may problem sa buto si patient kaya nagkaroon ng fracture. Either halimbawa, naging weak yung bone kaya nabali. Yan. So, ito po yung mga itsura ng mga fracture. Diba yun, no? Nagkabali-bali siya. Yan po yung mga sample ng mga fractures natin. Yan. So, prevalence and importance, sabi na, fractures are common injuries that can occur at any age. So, walang pinipili pong edad yan. They often occur due to accidents, diba? Falls, or high-impact trauma. And specific population like children, elderly, and athletes may experience fracture more frequently. So, yung mga bata, bakit? Masyadong malilikot. Diba? Yung matatanda, bakit? Fragile na yung bones nila. Yung mga athletes, kasi pwede because of overuse ng mga ng musculoskeletal system nila, diba? Kaya pwede mag-cause ng fracture din sa kanila yan. Okay, so there are classification of bone fractures. So, pwede pong depende sa skin involvement. So, meron tayong close or open. Simple fracture. So, bone is broken but the skin remains intact. So, ibig sabihin, may fracture sa patient pero wala kang, hindi lumabas yung buto. Walang sugat yung pasyente. Pero pag nakita sa x-ray, bali, putol yung buto ng pasyente. Okay, open or compound fracture, the bone is exposed through a break in the skin and increase the risk for infection. So, nakalabas yung buto ng pasyente. Okay, ano pa daw? Pwede rin based sa fracture line. Sabihin, ano yung itsura ng fracture? Transverse ba yan? Transverse ba yung pagkaputol o pagka-cut ng buto ng pasyente? Oblique? Diba? Diagonal? Spiral? Ayan, twisting ba? Yung break? Rotational force? Comminuted? Broken into multiple pieces? Nadurog ba? Green stick? So, incomplete break that bends on the side and typically sa mga children yan. Compression fracture? Diba? Bones is na-compress. Diba? Yung diba yung nasaldak ka, pwede po yan. Avulsion, a piece of bone is pulled off by a tendon. So, natanggal, lumabas yung buto. Mechanism of injury naman, pwedeng traumatic fracture, di ba? Dahil sa direct trauma or force. Pathologic, di ba? Pwedeng due to osteoporosis, yung weakness ng bone, pwedeng cancer or infection. Stress fracture result from repetitive stress or overuse. Yan nga po yung common sa mga athletes po natin. Okay, so ito po yung mga fracture, itsura ng mga fracture, di ba? Ito yung close kasi hindi lumabas. Open, nakalabas yung buto. Transverse, oblique, comminuted kasi durog, green stick, naka-align siya pero may break dun sa bone ni patient. Spiral, paikot. Diba? O compression, yung sa mga kadalasan yung mga vertebrae natin. Avulsion, ayan o, tanggal yung mismong bone ni patient. Okay, malinaw po sa classifications of bone fractures natin. Okay. So, ano ngayon yung mga manifestation if patient have fracture? So, number 1, patient have pain. Diba? So, intense and immediate pain at the site of fracture often worsened by movement. So, ibig sabihin, pag ginalaw yan, lalong sumasakit. Diba? Kaya nga yung iba, diba, kailangan immobilize, diba? Para naman mawasan yung pain ni patient. Ano pa daw? There will be swelling. There will be inflammation at the fracture site due to internal bleeding or nagkakaroon ng fluid build up. Diba? Kasi nga, syempre, kung nasugat yan, tawag dito, na damage din po yung organs around dyan or yung muscle around dun sa buto yung pasyente. Okay, there will be bruising, discoloration around the fracture site caused by blood vessels being damaged. Okay, deformities. So, ito po, mayroong visible misalignment. Nakita mo, nakaumbok dito sa may, halimbawa, yung braso ng pasyente, may nakaumbok. Diba? Nakapaling yung mismong braso ng pasyente natin. Diba? Ano pa daw? Inability to move the limb. Hindi niya maigalaw or walang movement. Diba? Either sobrang sakit or talagang na-disalign na siya kasi hindi niya pwedeng ilagay yung weight doon sa mismong fracture. There will be, crepitus. Pwede rin yan. A grinding or cracking sound produced when movement. So, pag parang may tumutunog. Parang merong, lalo pag may mga bone fragments dyan. Yung mga durug-durug na buto. Okay, there will be numbness or tingling sensation indicating potential nerve involvement or damage. Kapag nagkaroon ng pamamanhid, tsaka may parang tumutusok, pwedeng may nerve na problem. And patient may also be in shock pag mga severe fractures, specifically because of the severe blood loss. Kaya pwedeng magkaroon ng shock yung pasyente, such as hypotension, tachycardia, and confusion. Yan, ito po yung mga malalang mga fracture dun sa patient natin. So, how will you diagnose? Through X-ray. Makikita na po agad dyan. So, this is the primary imaging tool used to diagnose yung mga fractures sa bones. So, pwede rin po ng MRI, CT scan, bone scintigraphy bone to use for detecting yung stress fracture or fractures that do not show up in X-ray. Diba? Pero pwedeng ganyan. So, ultrasound, yan, real-time evaluation, kung kailangan talaga. Fluoroscopy used to guide orthopedic procedures and used for helpful in real time during surgeries or emergency department to assess yung alignment ng mga fractures para ma-align din po siya. Pero pinaka-common na lang, lagi nyo ma-encounter, X-ray. Yan, kita na agad siya. So, how will we manage yung mga fracture? So, first is immobilization. So, how will we immobilize yung part na nagkaroon ng fracture? So, by splinting, cast and traction. So, splint. So, a fracture should be immobilized as soon as possible to prevent further injury. Kasi nga, di ba, bali na nga yan. Yung gumigewang-gewang pa, di ba? Habang travel, di ba? Galaw-galaw, di lalo nagkakaroon ng injury. Ano pa daw? Mabawasan yung pain and promote proper alignment. Kaya po ini-splint natin, nilalagyan ng support. Okay, splint can be used until a more permanent solution is applied. Halimbawa, splint muna hanggat wala pa. Halimbawa, kaya sisementohin, ikakas pa lang yung patient natin. So, cast, after fracture is reduced or na-align na, a cast may be applied to keep the bones in place while they heal. So, yung cast, sisementohin siya para hindi gumalaw. Halimbawa, napag-align na ulit yung buto. So, sisementohin siya para habang nag-heal, hindi magkakaroon ng, hindi mag-move. Diba? Para maging perfect yung pag-heal ulit, pag-heal and yung alignment ng bone ni patient. Okay, traction. So, in cases of more severe fracture, especially kapag mga long bone fractures like your femur, traction may be used to gently pull the bones into alignment. So, parang hinihila siya. So, ito po yung mga so, splinting, di ba? Para ma-immobilize siya. Ito po yung cast. Ayan, traction. So, ito kasi, halimbawa, pag hindi siya naka-traction, umuusog ulit yung bone. So, kaya nilalagyan ng traction para ma-stretch and ma-align po yung bone ni patient. So, ito naman sa skull po yung traction na to. Okay, so after immobilization, next is pain management. So, medications na bibigay, analgesics, diba? Acetaminophen, paracetamol, NSAIDs, or opioids may be prescribed based on the severity of the pain. Depende kung sobrang sakit. Ano pa daw? We can also use ice and elevation. Diba? Ice pack and really and elevating the injury limb to reduce the swelling and discomfort. So actually, ano yan? Rise. Rest, ice, compression, and elevate. Pero, ito naman para ma-reduce yung swelling and pain. So, kaya nalagyan ng ice, compress yung pasyente natin. Next, wound care for open fracture. So, sterile dressing, cover the wound with sterile dressing to prevent yung infection. Diba? Kasi nga, open wound. So, bibigyan din po ng tetanus prophylaxis or tetanus shot may be needed for open fracture if bone is exposed or to dirt or bacteria. So, ano ibibigay? Bibigyan siya ng ATS, yung anti-tetanus serum plus tetanus toxoid. Okay, nakapag-duty na sa ER, nakakita na ng mga ganyan, experience na magbigay ng ATS. Ay, wala na akong kausap. Okay, meron ng isa, dalawa. Sige. Okay, so, next is fracture reduction. Pag sinabing reduction, ito yung i-align ulit yung buto ng pasyente. So, we have your close reduction and open reduction. Pag close reduction, sabi dito, if the bone is not displaced or misaligned, the fracture may be treated by close reduction. So, where the bone is manually aligned without the need for surgery. So, it's open done under local or general anesthesia. So, pagdudugtungin lang ulit. Hindi na kailangan operahan. Pag open reduction naman, ito yung mga severe cases. Ito yung mga na-displace talaga. Diba? So, kailangan din ng surgical intervention para ma-realign yung buto ni patient. So, pag open reduction, yan po yung pwede maglagay po tayo ng mga plates, na mga screws, na mga rods, or pins. So, yan yung binabakalan para maging in place. Gaya ito, naging fracture siya. So, ito pagdudugtungin yan. Kaya nilagyan itong plate na to, tapos tutornilyohin yan. Diba? Pag long bro, may din po dyan yung mga hip replacement. Yan. So, maraming klase po ng mga open reduction. So, basta pag sinabi open reduction, yan po yung open surgery plus nilalagyan po ng mga bakal yung patient natin. So, yan masarap i-assist sa OR, yung mga ortho cases. Diba? Kasi kala mo ka, carpentero dyan, diba? Merong martilyo, merong grinder, merong, barena, diba? Tapos magtutornilyo ka, diba? Kala mo ka, kala mo ka carpentero kapag ortho case. Yan. So, yan po isa sa pinakamasaya, favorite kong i-assist sa OR, pag ortho. Okay? So, syempre, after po nun, kailangan magre-rehabilitate si patient. Once the fracture begins to heal, physical therapy is essential to regain yung strength, yung mobility and flexibility no mismong affected area. So, it includes exercise to prevent joint stiffness and muscle atrophy. So, nangyayari po yan. Kasi, kagaya pa meron kakilala, nagkaroon siya ng fracture sa arms. So, ang ginawa niya, binaby niya, hindi niya ginagalaw. So, nanigas. Ngayon, hindi niya mataas yung arms niya. Hanggang, konti lang niyang movement. So, kaya ang tagal na therapy yung nangyari. Late na refer sa physical therapy. Okay, gradual weight bearing depending on the fracture location. Patient may be encouraged to gradually put weight on their injured limb as healing process to avoid complications like yung mga muscle weakening or joint stiffness. So, kaya nire-repair po natin sa rehab para ma-assess kung pwede na bang magbigay ng slight weight dun sa mismong injured part ng patient natin. Okay, so ano naman yung mga possible complication pagdating dyan sa fracture or pag na-operahan or nag-open reduction tayo kay patient. So, kadalasan, ang complication niyan is infection. Yan, kadalasan kapag mga open fractures, infection can occur. So, kaya kailangan assess yung site kung may mga redness, warm, or may mga discharges ba dun sa wound site ng pasyente natin. Kaya po, kadalasan, may antibiotic na pine-prescribe si doktor. Ano pa daw? Next, compartment syndrome. So, ito po isa sa mga ina-assess natin. A serious condition where the swelling is in the muscle increases pressure, potentially damaging the nerves and blood vessels. Symptoms include severe pain, numbness, and swelling requiring emergency intervention. So, ibig sabihin, pag sinabing compartment syndrome, namamaga, tumataas yung pressure. Halimbawa, nakakas yung pasyente. Sumisikip yung kas. So, anong kailangan gawin? Pag ganyan, nire-refer po agad yan kay doktor. Halimbawa, nagkakaroon ng compartment syndrome, nakakas. So, kailangan tanggalin yung kas para ma-relieve yung pressure. So, kaya hinihiwa po yan. Inire-relieve yung pressure. Kasi kapag hindi na-relieve yung pressure sa compartment syndrome, pwede pong mag-cause yan ng puputulin yung part ng limb. Kasi masisira po yung nerve and mga blood vessels po doon. Mako-compress kasi siya. So, kaya nire-report po agad if nagkakaroon ng compartment syndrome si patient natin. Okay, so ano pa daw? Fat embolism, di ba? Kapag nabe-break or napuputol yung bone, pwede pong mag-cause ng fat embolism, especially kapag mga large o yung mga malalaking bones yung napapracture. Sabi, this is a rare but serious complication where fat globules from the bone marrow enter the bloodstream and block the blood vessels, especially after fracture of long bones like yung femur, respiratory distress, confusion, and other symptoms. Kaya yung iba po, kapag mga long bone fractures operations, so nagbibigay din po ng mga low molecular weight heparin para ma-prevent po na magkaroon ng mga bara-bara. Kasi pwedeng pumasok yung mga fats. Kasi di ba, yung tawag ito, bone marrow, di ba, pag na-fracture yung patient natin. So, yan yung mga common complications na kailangan natin bantayan if patient have fracture. Okay, nutritional support for bone healing. So, proper nutrition is essential for bone healing. So, vitamin, calcium-rich food with vitamin D plus protein. Yan po yung kailangan ni patient. So, supplements may be prescribed if kinakailangan. So, doctor will identify kung kailangan pa ba i-support. So, follow-up care, regular x-ray or imaging test may be needed to monitor yung healing process kung nagdidikit na ba, diba? To ensure din na correctly aligned yung bone ni patient natin. So, depending on the fracture type, follow-up appointments are crucial to prevent complication like malunion or hindi tama, diba? Or hindi nagdikit or non-union of the bone. So, kaya po kailangan pina-follow up po yan pag mga fracture na yan. So, surgical procedure. So, we have your open reduction and internal fixation or ORIP used for fracture that cannot be properly aligned or stabilized by casting alone, especially yung mga complex. So, ayan po yung mga binabakalan. Pag external fixation naman, ito yung parang may mga anti-antena. Ito yan. Merong bakal sa labas. Siya yung nag-a-align. So, typically used for fracture with severe soft tissue damage, open fractures, or fracture in areas difficult to assess surgically like yung mga pelvis, sa spine. It can also use for fracture of the long bone sa femur. So, pwede po yan. Halimbawa, sobrang durug to. So, nilagyan na yan ng bakal sa loob, tapos nilagyan pa ng support dito sa labas para hindi talaga, kumbaga para mag-align yung mismong bones na yan. Okay, meron din tayo intramedullary nailing. So, nilalagyan ng pako, pinagdudugtong, diba? So, commonly used for fracture of long bones. such as femur, tibia, and humerus. Ayan, so lalagyan ng pako. Pero hindi siya pako, tornilyo actually. Ayan. So percutaneous pinning used for fracture that are not significantly displaced and is often applied for fractures of smaller bones, so finger, toes, and some fractures of the wrist. So yan naman yung mga ginagawa. So pwede rin po tayong magkaroon ng bone grafting. So may be required when the bone is a large gap in the bone or in the bone fragments cannot be healed properly or on their own. So such as non-union, di ba, hindi siya. So magagrap po tayo. So lalagyan din po yun ng support. Arthroplasty naman, joint replacement. So lalagyan ng artificial, di ba, para magkaroon ng, ayan, ito arthroplasty. So spinal cord, spinal fracture surgery. So ito naman po sa mga vertebroplasty or kyphoplasty. So surgical intervention to stabilize yung spine ni patient and para ma-prevent yung mga neurologic injuries. So dinidecompress po yan. So sa spine naman siya. Okay, may question po ba sa mga surgical procedures natin with the fractures? Wala? Sige. So, nursing management. So, care, fracture care at home. So, teach the patient how to care their cast, splint, including yung signs and symptoms ng mga skin irritation or meron bang infection. Yan. Advice on elevating the limb to reduce yung mga swelling. Diba? Provide guidelines when to seek medical assistance. Diba? Kung nag-i-increase ba yung pain, nawawala ng pakiramdam, yung pasyente, diba, nakakasyan. Kaya dapat, halimbawa sa arms, dapat nagagalaw pa rin niya yung mga daliri niya. Okay, dietary consideration. So, encourage patient on diet rich in calcium and vitamin D para mas mabilis mag-heal or matulungan mag-heal yung bone ni patient. So, high protein din for tissue repair naman. And prevention of future fractures. So, fall prevention strategies pag mga elderly. So, kaya tanggalin yung mga hazard, diba, or bigyan ng mga assistive device yung pasyente like yung cane or walker. So, educate athletes on proper warm-up and conditioning exercise to prevent stress on the fracture. So, kaya po, kailangan nag-stretching or nag-warm up bago sumasabak yung mga athletes. Diba, Salvador? Tama ba? Okay. Nawala na siya. Sige. Okay, may question po ba? Ayun pala siya. May question po? Malinaw po tayo sa fractures. Sure? Sige. So, let's now move with the bone and joint disorder. Kung okay na po tayo sa mga fracture. So, bone and joint disorder, so affects structure of the and function of the bones and joints. So, leading to pain, deformity, and limited mobility. So, this condition can result from trauma, pwedeng through aging or genetic factors, pwedeng through infection or metabolic imbalances. Yan po yung mga pwedeng disorder sa bone natin o nagkokos na yan. So, first disorder is your osteoporosis. So, ano nangyayari sa osteoporosis? Nagkakaroon ng bone demineralization. Ibig sabihin, yung mineral ng bone na nagpapatigas sa kanya, yun yung nawawala. Okay, osteoporosis is a condition characterized by weakened bones, making them fragile and more prone to fracture. So, ibig sabihin, nagiging weak yung mismong bone ng pasyente natin. Kung baga, ito, titingnan mo dito sa picture, yung matrix ng bone, di ba, halos dikit-dikit. Dito, nagkakaroon para mas dumadami yung mga hollow. Kaya nagiging marupok yung buto ng pasyente. So, pathophysiology of osteoporosis, imbalance between the bone resorption and formation resulting to reduce yung bone density. Ibig sabihin, yung pag-absorb, di ba, yung calcium, di ba, yung nagpapastigas ng mismo bone. So, risk factor, age, and gender. So, kadalasan, babae ang nagkakaroon po ng osteoporosis because of the, sa mga hormones. So, pwede rin po through family history, low calcium or vitamin D intake, smoking, sedentary lifestyle, excessive alcohol consumption. Kasi, break po ng alcohol yung pag-absorb din po ng calcium sa bones natin. Ayan. So, clinical manifestation of osteoporosis. Ayan, makita mo, modeling, magkaroon ng fracture. Diba? Ano daw? Loss of height, lumiliit. Diba kasi parang nakukompress, kaya parang lumiliit yung pasyente. Stoop posture, diba? Nakita nyo, nakahukot na yung pasyente. And then there will be back pain. So, how will we manage? So, through medication, yung mga bisphosphonates, calcium, and vitamin D supplements. Okay? So, pwede rin po sa exercise, weight-bearing exercises. So, walking, nakakatulong din po yan. And prevent, fall prevention strategies. Yan nga. So, pwede pong yung paligid, di ba? Tapos, bibigyan ng mga assistive device yung patient natin. So, that's for osteoporosis natin. May questions? Osteoporosis? Malinaw? Sige. Next is here, Paget's disease of the bone, or Paget's, or kung anong gusto nyo, Popia J. O, Paget's disease, ito, ano daw yan? Chronic disorder that causes the bone to enlarge and become deformed. So, lumalaki, tapos nawawala dun sa formation. For example, halimbawa, bumabalik ko yung buto ng pasyente. Or nagkakaroon ng additional bone. So, abnormal bone remodeling leads to weakened and misshapen bones. Diba? Kagaya niya, no? Nagkakaroon ng mga misalignment. Ay, hindi. Yung mismo, kumbaga parang pumapaling yung buto ng pasyente. So, manifestation, there will be bone pain. So, deformities, enlarge your skull or bowing legs, or increase yung risk pa rin sa mag-fracture dyan sa pasyente na merong Paget's disease. So, medication, biphosphonate din, calcitonin and pain reliever dun sa pasyente, physical therapy. In some cases, surgery para maayos or ituwid ulit yung buto ng pasyente natin. Okay, malinaw? Okay, next is your osteomyelitis. O may itis, ibig sabihin there is infection, there is inflammation. So, osteomyelitis is an infection of the bone caused by bacteria, and kadalasan na nagkakos yan is Staphylococcus aureus. So, saan nakukuha yan? Diba? Pwedeng because of surgery, trauma, diabetes, IV drug use, or compromise yung immune system ng pasyente. So, ibig sabihin na karoon ng bacteria dun sa mismong buto ng pasyente. Since there is inflammation, there is infection, ano manifestation? Fever, diba? Redness, swelling, and warmth dun sa site kung saan yung affected bone. And may pain din na nararamdaman yung patient natin. So, simple management, antibiotics. It could be IV or oral. For some instances, pwede pong magkaroon ng surgery para ma-drain yung mga abscess or ma-remove yung mga infected tissue dun sa mismong bone ni patient natin. Okay, next is osteoarthritis. Ano si OA? Ano naman nangyayari sa osteoarthritis? Sabi natin, the most common form of arthritis characterized by degeneration of articular cartilage in the joints leading to pain and stiffness. So, ibig sabihin, yung cartilage dun sa joint, yun yung nasisira sa osteoarthritis. Halimbawa, ito yung sa tuhod, yung dugtungan na yan, yun yung nasisira. Diba? So, there will be degeneration of the cartilage which causes bone-to-bone friction and joint pain. Kasi nga, di ba si cartilage, siya yung, kumbaga, siya yung tumutulong dun sa mga joints. Nasira na siya. So, magkikiskisan ngayon yung buto ng pasyente dun sa mga joints niya. Diba? It should be age, risk factor, age-related. So, gender, women ulit yung common dyan. Obesity, joint injury, or mga genetic factors. So, pwede rin pong na mamana. So, manifestation, joint pain, especially when movement or weight bearing. Ibig sabihin, kapag nadadaganan or ginagalaw, dun siya sumasakit. Diba? Stiffness or limited range of motion. So, masakit na para siyang namamaga siya, kaya hindi siya maigalaw. There is swelling and deformities. Management, so pain reliever. So we can give NSAIDs, acetaminophen, and pwede rin po yung corticosteroids. Di ba? Anti-inflammatory po. Yan. So physical therapy and exercises, weight management or joint replacement surgery in advanced cases. So di ba yung arthroplasty, kapalitan yung cartilage na dyan para ayusin. Okay, so after OA, we also have your RA or rheumatoid arthritis. So ano man nangyari kay rheumatoid arthritis? So ano pinagkaiba ng OA sa RA? So si rheumatoid arthritis, autoimmune disorder that causes chronic inflammation of the joint, leading to joint damage and deformity. So ito, autoimmune, tapos nagkakaroon ng inflammation mismo sa joint niya. So ano daw nangyari? The immune system mistakenly attacks the synovial membrane, leading to inflammation and damage of the cartilage and the bones. So ang pinagkaiba, si OA, nasira. Ito merong inflammation, merong autoimmune problem si patient. So risk factor, genetics, smoking age, and most common between 30 to 50 years of age. Gender are common in women. So kadalasan po dito sa mga bone disorder, mas madalas po sa mga babae siya. Kasi sa mga hormonal changes na yan. So, clinical manifestation, symmetrical joint pain and swelling. So, ibig sabihin, pag symmetrical, pantay. Diba? Morning stiffness. So, kadalasan tuwing umaga yan, sumasakit, naninigas. So, lasting for more than 30 minutes. So, deformity. So, nagkakaroon ng ulnar deviation or swan neck, diba? Yung daliri niya, umapaling, diba? O nakabaluktot yung daliri sa daliri ng pasyente. Okay, so fatigue, diba? Fever and weight loss, pwede rin po yan kay patients. Management, so this is modifying anti-rheumatic drugs like yung methotrexate, diba? Or biologic agents, diba? Yung NSAID or corticosteroid for symptom relief kasi nga in pain si patient. So, we can also refer patient for physical therapy and joint protection technique. So, tinutulungan po yan sa physical therapies natin. Yan, baro masakit po ng mga nag-iedad, no? Next naman is gout. Ayan. So, tinatawag din siyang gouty arthritis. So, a form of arthritis caused by buildup of uric acid crystals in the joint, leading to sudden and severe pain. So, si gout, tumataas yung uric acid. Nagkakaroon ng, nade-deposit yung mga uric acid crystals dun mismo sa joints ni patient. Kadalasan po yan, yung mga big toe, dun din siya nagkakaroon yan. Pero pwede rin sa mga tuhod-tuhod. Ayan. So, risk factor, due to diet, high in purines, alcohol consumption, di ba? Obesity and certain medications like yung mga diuretics, pwede rin po yan mag-cause ng gout. So, manifestation, ayan, intense joint pain, open sa big foot, sa big toe siya nakikita, redness, there will be warmth and swelling do sa joint, di ba? And, episode open start at night naman. So, pang umaga, si RA, pang gabi si gout. Okay, paano kaya kapag pareho mo siyang nakuha, ano? Jackpot ka. Okay, management, si colchicine. So, ano ginagawa ni colchicine? Minamanage na hindi mag-accumulate yung mga uric na yan. Yung uric acids na yan. So, NSAIDs for pain, corticosteroids for inflammation and pain din para ma-manage din sa kanya. So, uric acid lowering agents, your allopurinol, para bumaba yung uric acid ni patient. So, yung allopurinol, nagkukos din niya na umihi pasyente para mabawasan po yung uric acid level ng pasyente dun sa dugo niya. So, diet modification. So, kailangan, ang kakainin na low purine diet na po. So, ano ba yan nakukuha yung mga purine? Yung mga organ meats, dyan siya nakukuha. Okay, so, assessment for bone disorder and bone and joint disorder. So, history taking is very important. So, ask natin yung patient about dun sa onset. Diba, kailan nagsimula, gaano katagal, gaano ka kasakit, yung joint stiffness, kailan nangyari, swelling, deformities, meron ba siya nakita. So, review na medical history of the patient, the family history, diba, kung meron ba sa history nila talaga na may mga joint problems, diba, kung medical history, mga risk factors, diba, nagyoyosi ba yung pasyente, obese ba yung pasyente, yung diet niya, check mo din siya. So, physical inspection, so, inspection, examination, so, inspection, palpation, check the ROM, the range of motion of the patient, diba? Neurovascular assessment, ganyan mo din yung circulation ng patient natin. Okay, diagnostic for bone, so we have your MRI, CT scan, MRI, X-ray, blood test, joint aspiration. So, for X-ray, so for fracture, for arthritis, and other bone deformities para mas ma-identify natin. So, for MRI and CT scan, soft tissue involvement or mga complex injuries na yan. For blood test, so yan, para makita yung mga markers of inflammation, di ba? Yung C-reactive protein natin, yung rheumatoid factor, makikita rin po yan. Yung uric acid levels dun sa gout, or kung mga may infection, tumataas yung WBC count ni patient. So, joint aspiration naman, this is to analyze yung mga synovial fluid, kung meron bang mga infection, mga crystal formation ba, or mga other abnormalities mismo sa joint fluids ng patient natin. And how will we manage? So, sabi nga natin, as a nurse, ang focus natin is pain management. So, administration ng mga prescribed pain medication kay patient, like your NSAID, acetaminophen or opioids, depende sa kung gaano ka severe yung pain. So, heat or cold application to reduce inflammation and to improve yung comfort ni patient. Kasi di ba pag hot or heat compress or cold, warm compress, di ba nagpo-promote ng blood circulation. Pag naman cold compress, nare-reduce niya yung inflammation. Yeah. So, encourage use of joint protection devices, yung mga splint or braces. Especially yan kapag talaga mga weak yung bone ni patient. So, promote mobility. So, encourage physical therapy and exercises to improve strength and joint function. Assist with activities of daily living as needed. And teach your patient or joint protection techniques na yan. So, education. So, educate patient on medication adherence. Ba't kailangan nila inumin? Bakit kailangan, kailan? Ano ba yung mga side effect ng gamot na pwede nilang makita dun sa pag tinitik na nila yung mga medication. And prevent complications. So, for patient with osteoporosis, educate po on fall prevention. Diba? Yung mga tanggalin yung mga nakaharang-harang dyan. Diba? Yung mga dapat malinis yung daanan. Diba? Well lighted. Diba? Maliwanag. And yung paggamit ng mga assistive devices. And monitor for complication like joint deformities, especially in RA and OA. Ensure yung appropriate interventions are in place. Alright, may question po ba sa musculoskeletal problem natin? Are we all clear? Sure, walang question? Alright, if you don't have questions, so thank you so much for listening. Sabi daw dito, ask yourself if what you're doing today is getting you closer to where you want to be tomorrow. So, yung mga ginagawa ba natin today, is yan po ba yung nagpapalapit sa atin para makuha natin yung gusto natin mangyari sa susunod or sa future natin? Diba? So, kaya kayo nag-aaral mabuti, diba? Para makuha natin yung inaasahan ninyo kasi lahat naman ang gusto ay magkaroon ng lisensya. So, konti na lang, magagrab nyo na yan. Alright? So, thank you so much for listening.